It is that time again. This is another edition of the Neishloss Podcast, presented by, of course, Neishloss Fleming and Integrity Marketing Group. I'm your host, as always, Mike Asti. And for this show, this super show of sorts, as that's the time of season right now, I am going to be talking about Cigna. So Cigna, a carrier that certainly has some importance around the Medicare space. And we are going to be discussing what Cigna is doing right here at home in Pennsylvania, as Cigna, an important carrier here, but a carrier that maybe you don't hear as much about as some others, so we certainly thought it makes sense to talk about it here on the podcast. Want to make sure to remind you guys to click on that subscribe button, smash that button down there below the video. It'll help us get all of our content to you, and reminder also to follow us all throughout social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, and now we're over there on Instagram, and also keep subscribing here on the channel, and even find us on our website at nandfinc.com. So, to talk about Cigna in Pennsylvania, this is a guy who deals with Cigna more than just PA, but this is kind of the focus of the show, will be in Pennsylvania. It is the director of Mid-Atlantic region for Cigna, Paul Gill. So, Paul, definitely appreciate the time here. Thanks for joining me on the show. So, how have you been? I know that you had a storm issue this past week, and we lost power when we initially were going to record. So I'm glad that you're up and running, you have power, and you're in a little better circumstance now.
No, things are fine. We got power back, and like every other anomaly this year, COVID included, we're negotiating as we go along.
Yeah, absolutely. That's all we can do is just kind of roll with the punches. That's kind of the theme of the last year and a half per se, and who knows when that'll end. But nonetheless, we have you here. We're still able to get this podcast together. And you no longer have to be living that Amish life that you were living there for those hours of that day. Even though the weather has not subsided, the storm's still here, but at least we have power to do this show. Again, Paul Gill, the director of the Mid-Atlantic region for Cigna here, Mike Asti on this Neishloss podcast. And Paul, to dive in, Cigna is a carrier that does offer a decent amount of opportunities themselves, but Pennsylvania is a state with tons of opportunities for Medicare clients overall. So when you're dealing with a state like PA and so many options for consumers, why do you feel like Cigna is able to be a part of this market, have success in this market, and why do you feel like members would gravitate towards Cigna?
Gotcha. So, I come from the inside, but I've had a long-standing relationship with the independent agent community. So the first thing that comes to mind is confidence. You have to be confident in the plan you're going to offer and sell, because at the end of the day, they're your customers, right? So, little known fact, Cigna is the nation's oldest stockholder-owned insurance company. Yeah, been around since the 1700s. I know that sounds a little crazy,
Wow.
But it's true.
That does sound crazy. I knew it was the oldest, but I did not know that year time frame. That's insane.
1792 it goes back to.
Trivia question there.
There was another product I'm sure we wanted to make sure made it across the ocean safely. But it's that it's steady leadership. It's that core.
Yeah.
It's at the core of our survival and our growth today. So the members feel assurance when they join, when they use the benefits. They experience our commitment to accessing quality care, and local brokers need to know that that's there for their customers when they bring them to us. So between that, our broker managers who are here at the ready to support any agents who want to know more about Cigna, need support while they're in the sales process or where to market. We have community outreach out there, making sure that their awareness of Cigna is everywhere, even though folks may know them maybe from a corporate or a group standpoint. Medicare
Right.
is what we make sure folks know we're in that scape too. Our provider team, always looking to expand the network, and marketing, always trying to create those tools that local agents can use and bring more Cigna customers to them.
So the brand's there. Obviously, the long standing in the space is there with Cigna, to say the very least. But again, there's a lot going on in Pennsylvania in particular, and certainly across the country. There are other major carriers that people are aware of. So it's not just about a brand to have a level of success. It has to be more than that. It has to be more than the brand. The product has to meet the brand as well. And that's kind of what you're alluding to with Cigna, which will now segue into my next question for you. when discussing the plans, because again, it has to be more than just the relationship and more than just the brand. And you could have been around hundreds of years like Cigna has been around, that if you don't have the plans and eventually those plans and benefits subside and they can't compete, somebody else will bump you off. But Cigna has a well-developed portfolio plan. So they have plans, they have many options plan-wise. But if you could narrow it down, what do you think are one, two, maybe more plans that have had a lot of growth that are kind of popping off the page and clients are gravitating towards with Cigna right now?
Sure. So especially in the Philadelphia area, the big metropolis, low-income area, the plan that's growing by leaps and bounds is called the Alliance Plan. It's an HMO. It's very popular. It's a non-dual plan, so you don't have to have any extra help to qualify. But there is a reduced network. Now, when folks say reduced network, they're like, oh, okay, so it's only good in certain areas. In Philadelphia, in the 4 counties, there's over 1,200 PCPs and over 12,000 specialists and 53 hospitals that participate. So when I say reduced, it's not really a limit. It's just they're focused on the quality of care. Those doctors in it are being held to a higher standard in delivering HEDIS and all those things that contribute to that star rating. And if they do their job properly, they keep folks healthier, out of the hospital, on their medications, more compliant, staying healthier. And then that allows us to make this one of the richest HMO plans without having qualified for extra help. So we can put more benefits if folks and doctors work together as a team and make sure that they stay healthy. Then we can make it a rich plan for anybody who wants to go to those docs.
Yeah, and obviously holding doctors to a high standard is a good thing. I think everybody kind of wants that. That definitely makes sense, certainly makes the experience better. Outside of the Alliance plan, though, any other plans that jump off the page that if an agent is bringing up Cigna that you recommend definitely bringing up because you notice clients are really, really interested?
Philadelphia and the surrounding counties, there's a huge dual population. And the fact that you sell this dual plan all year long, as rich as it is, with vision, dental, hearing, transportation's unlimited to the doctors. They've got an over-the-counter where they can order products you and I have to pay $6 and $7 for to put in our medicine. They order out of the catalog, have it delivered to their house every quarter up to $200. Then there's a healthy benefit. We give them a debit card where they can purchase at participating supermarkets and get healthy fruits and vegetables. So there's that dual plan is very rich, very popular, and folks that sell it and members that join it, it's very tough for a competitor to get them to move off of it because of what we deliver. So if you're going to sell in the Philadelphia market, you really want to have Cigna in your bag when you get to the kitchen table.
Sure. And again, Cigna is definitely a major player in that east side of Pennsylvania. And Paul, somebody that deals with more than that, but again, the focus of this show is that area in Pennsylvania. Paul Gill, the director of the Mid-Atlantic region with Cigna here. Mike Asti on the Neishloss Podcast. Remind you again, bottom of the video, it's really easy. Click on that subscribe button. It's free to do so and helps us get our content to you. You get a notification when anything is uploaded here on the Neishloss and Fleming YouTube channel. Now, Paul, in terms of selling, it's different than ever before. You might not have as much time as you're used to having. You're not going to maybe be welcome in someone's kitchen and have milk and cookies and be sitting there for hours talking about their grandkids. The clients and members want to make sure they're really taken care of. They might even be more knowledgeable than before where they're comparing and contrasting. And certainly we know there are challenges for agents. So again, having a strong brand is great. Having multiple plans and having plans that have success and make sense, that's great. But you've alluded to some of these already. It's also about the benefits now. And the benefits can separate the major carriers from each other, certainly the carriers that have been around a long time, like Cigna. When you are giving advice to an agent that if you only are going to be able to mention one thing, you got to get this out in terms of a benefit of a plan, what would that benefit be? What is a single attractive benefit that you just got to get out there when you're discussing Cigna or any of these plans with a prospective member?
Well, that's tough. I've been in Medicare a long time, but you hit me with a question that's kind of tough to pin it down.
It is tough. If you have more than one, you certainly can offer that too. But that we ask tough questions here on the Neishloss Podcast.
The one thing that people tend to gravitate towards, this healthy benefit is new. It's an introduction product,
Okay.
so it's something they may not have seen before or experienced with other plans. So that healthy benefit, getting fresh fruits and vegetables, saving them some money in the, when they go to the supermarket. The transportation for a lot of folks helps people stay compliant. Weather like this, people don't want to drive, a family member can't take them. That helps them stay compliant, seeing their doctor. Some of these plans have unlimited transportation, so as many times as they need to go, we'll have a driver pick them up, take them to the appointment, and then when they're completed, bring them back home. Tough to pin one benefit down. As we get to the kitchen table, we want to be consultative, find out what's important to the person in front of them.
Sure.
One of the best, you mentioned our portfolio, and not everybody has this, is we really have a plan for everybody. So that Alliance plan with HMO full of benefits, almost like a dual plan, but you don't have to be dual. We have an Achieve plan for diabetics. So we have a C-SNP that other plans don't have. We got a zero premium HMO, zero premium PPO, and there's no dental network in that PPO. So that might be one of those other benefits people like. You can go to pretty much any dentist that takes Medicare, and they can do $1,500 to $2,000 worth of dental work.
Fantastic. Yeah, dental is definitely a big deal, because I know that there were a lot of people out there that didn't think some of the major carriers offered enough with dental the last few years. So definitely beefing up things dental-wise is definitely a big deal, and offering something, that's a plus. And then I think people also don't realize when you do get sick, there's more that goes into that cost that you're mentioning with transportation than just the doctor visit. It does involve going to and from. Sometimes people are having to choose to go 2 hours to a hospital in that state, because the states are so big and one hospital is maybe more proficient than the other. So that transportation, that type of benefit, definitely a big deal for people to remember, for sure. And that kitchen table is going to be virtual, at least as we stand right now. I mean, if someone's welcoming in your home and you can do it safely, that's fine. But you're dealing with technology issues. You're dealing with power going out, like Paul already had to deal with. That certainly can make the conversation go a lot quicker than you would like. So obviously you need to do the needs analysis. You need to make sure that you're serving the client the best you can for what they need. Certainly Brian Adams, our CEO of Integrity, always mentions that the Medicare business is about serving people and helping them and giving them what they need, and then the money will come. But there are certain benefits that really just pop off the page that almost anyone can utilize and is going to love. Again, Paul Gill, the director for the Mid-Atlantic region with Cigna, as we're talking about Cigna in Pennsylvania here on this edition of the Neishloss Podcast. Paul, of course, does work outside of just Pennsylvania, so maybe we'll have him on to talk about another market at some point here in the future. Now, Paul, there always are people out there that are going to try to nitpick in some respects. And we did talk a little bit of the misconception network-wise with some of the Cigna plans in Pennsylvania. So maybe that's kind of the answer here. But if there have to be challenges, if there's any challenges that you've either heard from agents, or if there's anything that does exist, because no plan, no carrier, nothing's perfect, what are some challenges that maybe you do think are there, and some advice to get around those challenges? I'm not saying there's anything negative here. I know you're not going to, speak against the carrier or the plans, but just in terms of advice, if maybe there's misconceptions out there, that might be maybe a better phrase to help agents, because we get a lot of agents watching these shows, and even members too, that, hey, I can't get over this. What would be advice?
Right. So, and it's a good, fair question. No plan is perfect. No company is perfect. But we just had broker roundtables the last week post AEP to hear exactly what agents wanted to find out about Cigna, whether it was a tool where they were something of that nature. So we're listening, and we want to respond to that. One, we have a ton of electronic tools, and we have an outreach team, support team called Carl. Any broker can call. We're expanding their services, so they're in a bit of growing pains and learning to do more for the agent. So in addition to verifying ability, Medicaid, Medicare, if a doctor's participating, they're all going to be also going to be handling commission questions. So one-stop shop. So they're now going through those growing pains so they can be that all-inclusive tool for agents to be able to reach out to. And Eastern PA is a very competitive market. So I say you really have to do your homework. A lot of plans can look the same on paper, but you really have to dig deep to find out, can it be delivered on the other side once you enroll that member? You want to make sure the providers participate, the drugs are covered the way you want it to. There's a lot that goes into that, and our broker managers are here to make sure you get the in-depth one-on-one support to understand why Cigna may be that plan you definitely want to bring to the table when you get there. We've got 99% of our plans have dental coverage, 97% have vision, OTC benefits, and 82% of our plans. So if you have that portfolio and you know you can deliver those extra benefits, it's a lot easier to pull open our comparison guide instead of 2 or 3 from multiple companies and know I have a portfolio here to address just about anybody in front of us. So working on the tools, getting better at it. You have to learn another tool if you're using electronic tools. Also, here's a new one, we Agent Assist line. So if you don't like electronic tools, if you're like me, you started writing insurance with an application and carbon paper on. I don't want to date myself, but
back in the 1700s.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding with you.
Hey, I got that quill pen I wrote my first app with. Don't laugh.
Okay.
So we have an Agent Assist line, so the agents can get somebody after they've shown them the plan, pretty much sold them the plan they want to enroll in, verified docs and drugs, can call in with them, have them verify eligibility, and then they'll connect them to the Agent Assist line to do that application over the phone without paper, without a computer. So it doesn't get much easier than that.
No, so there's something for everyone because we do understand the challenges of this pandemic environment. And really, even if we are ever post-COVID, if that even could exist, this is still kind of the new norm. There are still going to be people that are going to be nervous. This is still going to be a situation where you're going to need to have some familiarity, or it'll be a benefit to you to have some familiarity with technology, and you might not be welcome in as many kitchen tables as you previously would have been. Things are changing. But if that's not for you, having this hotline number, that's definitely a great way to still get around the fact that this is a more difficult time and not having to mess with as much paper as before, which makes it easier on you and the carrier. So that's all wonderful too, especially with the fact that you as a carrier are increasing what you can do for customer service, especially technology speaking, and able to adapt and hear that maybe you weren't offering something good enough before and now you're increasing on that. So a major carrier that's been around a while to be able to adapt and kind of take the criticism and improve on it, that's a big deal as well, to say the very, very least. Paul Gill, the director for the Mid-Atlantic region with Cigna, joining me here on the Neishloss Podcast as we round things out. Paul, I definitely have appreciated the time for sure, and I know here at Neishloss we appreciate the relationship with Cigna. We're in PA as well, but we certainly are all throughout the country dealing with Cigna everywhere, really, and knowing it as certainly one of the major carriers. And we have agents that are working with Cigna, so if that's you, certainly can give us a call and talk to any of us about anything going on with the carrier. Can comment on this video, comment on anything throughout social media, on any of the videos or any of the posts there, and we can certainly discuss with you. And when you're talking about a COVID world, we have digital marketing. We have a guy that actually is a former agent like Paul who can help you with digital marketing to help create a website, social media channels, and really dive in and take that workload away from you. That program's called Snoozy. We have an online enrollment platform called Medicare Center that can help you look up doctors, prescription drugs. You can enroll right there. So that goes back to making it easy to enroll online. We have a bonus program called Greenhouse. We have everybody here certainly that can give you that advice and that tutelage as much as possible. So we have a lot going for us. We certainly have a lot to offer. And of course, the relationship with Integrity Marketing Group. And that includes Cigna, and that includes certainly Cigna in Pennsylvania. Now, Paul, as we get close to finishing this out here, as we're about to round the bases and go home, any other final words of wisdom here, whether it be advice to an agent or just anything in general? I mean, obviously there are tons of plans to choose from, and you mentioned all the benefits. And I know agents don't want to have that experience of a client calling them and saying, my friend Betty has this benefit with that plan, and I don't know if I have it here. So it seems like those conversations aren't going to have to be that often with these Cigna plans because of what you're offering. But any final words of wisdom back from the 1700s, the history of Cigna, that we can offer here as we close the show?
I think it's important to know that we have a solid team. I really put a really good team together, especially the broker managers. They come from other plans locally who came over, said they were tired of trying to get somebody to come out of a Cigna plan and join them. So they just joined the winning. Not bragging, just saying that's how it went down. And
absolutely. Yeah.
Broker managers that have been with Cigna for over 13 years. So they've got the history. They've seen the evolution. They know the company inside and out. And even a broker manager that came from the FMO side who's used to helping agents grow their business. So like Neishloss, we're about the broker, back and giving them the consistent support that helped them develop this business. I know there's agents coming into Medicare, probably sold final expense or other products, but Medicare is growing. That population is growing day after day. So if you're adding Medicare to your portfolio, we want you to add Cigna, and Neishloss can definitely help you understand the business, how to develop your book, and how to take care of your customers, and use the tools you'll need to help out those that are been in the Medicare world and maybe they don't have a computer, and the baby boomers on the way who've been working with computers now getting ready to retire. You know, you have the best of both worlds, a good plan you can count on, and an FMO that knows how to work with agents, new or old.
Yeah, perfect world right there. As perfect, I guess, as it can be in this ever-changing world where you need to roll with the punches. Absolutely agree with everything you said there, and I know that that's something that's brought up a lot here amongst the Integrity FMOs is again, just being able to have that relationship and really being able to take care of people, and the fact that Medicare as a business right now has still kind of thrived despite everything going on. It's been one of those rare thriving businesses. And I do also tell people when I talk to them and they're only working with life or only working with final expense, well, if you have the license, there's no reason not to jump aboard the Medicare train, because it is one of those businesses that's thriving, if not even more so. And you're just missing out on tons of people that it's not just money for you, but they also need your help, maybe more so now than ever before. So absolutely. So Paul, we definitely appreciate the time. We'll have to do this again, maybe talk about what's going on with Cigna and some of your other locations for yours, since you're all over the Mid-Atlantic. And certainly we're going to keep on talking to our agents about what Cigna's doing in general. So for Paul Gill there, the director of the Mid-Atlantic region with Cigna here, of course, I'm Mike Asti again. I want to remind you to click on that subscribe button on the bottom of this video to help get us our shows to you as easy as possible and get you a notification when anything is uploaded here, goes live, premieres, whatever the case may be here on the Neishloss and Fleming YouTube channel, and also find us all throughout social media. Again, we're over there on Instagram now at Neishloss_Fleming over there on IG, so find us there. You can find these shows there as well, and also on our website at nandfinc.com. So again, for Paul, for all of us at Neishloss and Fleming and Integrity Marketing Group, again, I'm Mike Asti. Until we meet again.